Gentlemen of the press, it's no longer in doubt that Nigerian parliament members are the highest paid of all parliamentarians worldwide. Findings through contacts from some former members and serving National Assembly members have revealed that the jumbo pay of National Assembly members, if slashed and put back into the economy, Nigerians will be better off. However, all calls made to the National Assembly members to do the needful by reducing their jumbo pay had always met stiff resistance from these members. The National Assembly is made up of 469 members, of which 360 are House of Representative members, while 109 are senators. The 9th National Assembly members receiving 4.68 billion welcome package is worrisome, as facts on ground shows that the 9th Assembly is majorly occupied by the change mantras. Hence, there should have been a drastic change from the usual way of doing things. The tyrannical acceptance by the National Assembly members of the bogus take-home salary they receive at the expense of the loss of Nigerians have earned them the coded name legislators, implying legislating aimed at looting commonwealth. It is quite unfortunate that the 9th Assembly, dominated by agents of change, have refused to toe the step of nationhood by not reducing their take-homes. This clearly shows that all legislators are same of the same, in spite of their political parties' differences when it comes to looting. Investigations have also shown that all members of the National Assembly can afford to buy newspapers. They can afford to fuel their cars. They can as well afford to buy furniture on their own and also pay for accommodation before becoming members of the National Assembly. So why are they shifting the burden on the state that belongs to us all? The change agents, as majority members of the 9th Assembly, should lead by example, either by reducing the huge pay they receive or resort to a selfless service to the nation. Gentlemen of the press, the honorable members, men and women, should be honorable enough to allow their conscience do the needful. Imagine a high position officer of National Assembly telling Nigerians that his salary is 750,000 per month. Where has he placed other take-homes and allowances? Furthermore, according to other findings, the jumbo pay comes in when one talk of housing, furniture, newspaper, fueling of cars, domestic aids, totaling about 15 items. And these items above, if summed up, accumulate to 13.5 million naira per senator. Now, add the acknowledged 750,000 naira. You would have got the take-home salary of a senator per month. National Assembly members should note that Nigerian masses are watching them. And very soon, very, very soon, if there are no change from this usual inhuman jumbo salary, the masses in this nation will definitely resort to civil disobedience against them.
Gentlemen.
On a last note, it's worthy of note that notable Nigerians have spoken against the jumbo salaries of National Assembly members, but they refuse to make amendments. Hence, it will not be out of place parliamentarians are shameless, money hunger, carrots, and they lack conscience. However, it will be on record of posterity if these National Assembly members could for once have conscience and reduce their take home for the good of this country. Let it be said that stand to condemn xenophobic attack on Nigerians in diaspora by their host countries until they have purged themselves of the jumbo salaries syndrome. Finally, the do or die politicking in Nigeria has been traced to the inhuman urge by would-be politicians to get power in order to perpetrate the coordinated looting of our common treasury through jumbo salaries and allowances. It is time those leading us in this country called Nigeria to have a rebirth of thought, a rebirth of conscience, and a rebirth of mind, ready to set to serve the interests of the nation called Nigeria, or they will face the unavoidable anger of their aggrieved masses through uncoordinated attacks of the looters. Thank you, and God bless you. We are already inciting Nigerians against them. We have started inciting Nigerians against them. And today, Nigeria should note that whoever is a National Assembly member, you know him very well. Please, if there's no public announcement that their salary and their allowances has been reduced, attack them wherever you see them. They are worse than the South Africans killing our people.
Yes.
I'm trying to make a breakdown so that the Nigerian actually knows how much are they even receiving. The total sum of money they are receiving, the annual basis amount is 2,026,400. Now let us do a breakdown. Furniture allowance, 300% of their basic salary, which means that they are collecting 7,452,733 naira. Constituency allowances, 200% of their basic salary, 4,968,500. They are even collecting active allowance, that is 50% of their basic salary, 1,242,122. They are also collecting newspaper allowance of their 500% of their basic salary. That is 1,240,122 naira. Also, accommodation allowance, there are 200% of the basic salary, which is total of 4,968,509 naira. That is how much they are collecting, including vehicle allowance, maintenance, 70% of the salary, which total of 1,868,150. Let us say it now. Each senators, they get 498 naira, 230 naira per day, while the House of Assembly is 342 naira, 964 per day. Now, what we are now saying is that in a country where the government signed minimum wage 5 months ago, cannot pay 35. How much is it? 30,000 naira a month to a civil servant. The civil servant that works for the money that the senators are collecting. Now let us go to our ministers. How much are they collecting? But they are not moving us that they are working for Nigerians. They are working for themselves. A minister under this government is collecting 2,026,400 naira. Junior minister is collecting 1.8 million. Extra code allowance is $900. Duty tour allowance is 35,000 per night. Utility, telephone, electricity, water, they are collecting 607 naira 92 kobo. Vehicle fueling maintenance allowance 1,509,800. These are all the money that our government is collecting on behalf of we masses, where the masses are suffering. To get 3 square meal a day, now under this level of change to what they call next level, is that Nigerians are afraid to answer questions when they come up with their analog of change. They say change. We fail to ask them what change are giving us. Is this Takuna change or change to better our life? But what we saw was Takuna change. Now they move to next level. Now next level to what? Is it to poverty? Is this to change our life? We have not answered that question.
Thank you.
By and large, we want all Nigerians to know that we are running a government of elite, a government that is for self, not for Nigeria.
These guys are lawless. They are lawless in the sense that they refuse to understand the fact that they are to serve and not the other way around. I've been a loyalist to most of them. I fought day and night to make sure that there's a change in governance. I fought the last administration, the Jonathan administration. I fought them. Most of you are aware. And what I bargained for, what my group bargained for, is not what we're getting.
Yes. This wasn't.
When Lawal came in, when Gbagabamila came in, I expected a situation that they were going to toe the line of Shehu Sani by making known what they are collecting and denouncing it and telling Nigerians, we are sorry, we have treated you enough. Most of these guys are billionaires even before they became who they are. So, if it's a call for violence, so be it. If it's a call for violence, so be it. Because they are lawless. If you are not clean, you can't be claiming to be making laws.
Yeah.
Those laws will be biased. Those laws will be polluted. So in essence, we care less if they are making law. If they are making law and they refuse to also make law to reduce their salaries so that more Nigerians will have work to do. So that more Nigerians will not be running helter-skelter in Libya, in South Africa, in Togo, in Cameroon, searching for work. Then the laws they are making is lawless. So either moral or legal, what we're saying that he that must come for equity must come with clean hand. Just of yesterday or 2 days ago, I was reading a newspaper where they said those making laws for Nigerians also have criminal charges against them by EFCC. Now let's put it this way: if you are an assemblyman, you already have the chain of EFCC on your neck, and you are making law, and they are bringing probably the chairman of EFCC before you for questioning. Of course, you ask questions that will nail him.
Yes.
You ask questions that will kill him because he's already hanging you. So what we're saying is very simple, very, very simple. We're only saying, reduce it, make it known to Nigerians. You were already rich before you became a House of Rep member or senator. You were already rich. None of them was poor. None was poor. I can say it here.
Yeah.
No House member was poor. How much did they buy the phone to even contest for election? You and I cannot afford it. So if they can afford it, they are already rich. They had cars. Even before it became anything. So what we're saying is this: they should toe the line of equity. We know most of them, and they know us. They knew what we did for them, how we campaigned for them. And so, if we are now saying that what they are doing is wrong, it's time for them to wake up. Because when we decide to fight them, nobody will stop us. 99.9% of politicians in Nigeria are liars.
They won't tell you what.
Mark my word. They will tell you, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. They will even come with a car that has an open roof.
So that you see their
I'm coming. That's transparency of the highest order. Open roof, waving you. As soon as they are voted in, you find them in the tinted vehicles. What? Shading away from you guys that voted them. So, look, they will never tell you the truth. So, the only thing we can do is to say, rather than wait for the election to come, to start saying don't vote them, let us begin to do what? Engage them and checkmate them publicly. Pastors, imams should listen carefully. They are part of our problem. The imams, the pastors are part of our problem.
religion.
Most of these guys on Sundays, they go to churches.
Yes.
They sit on the front row. And most of these pastors will not ask questions. Most of these imams will not ask questions. God is watching you guys. Pastors, imams, God is watching you guys. You need to tell them the truth. The bitter truth. That they have done what? They have done more evil to this nation. And that's the bitter truth. We must learn from the Arab Spring. And I tell you, I have made up my mind to lead the true revolution against the cabals. I've been to prison once and I fear no prison again. I fear no prison. Let them listen to me carefully. They know me. When I say enough is enough, enough is enough. We know them, they know us.
Yes.
I am aware, most of us are aware, you media men are aware, that before they became somebody in the House of Assembly or National Assembly, they were buying newspapers. Some of them were not even buying newspapers. Now, there is a budget for newspaper, even when they don't read those newspapers.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't read the newspapers. There's a budget for fueling of their cars, even when those cars are not in use.
Yeah.
There are budget for AIDS.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about? They cannot deny. It's a moral thing. That is why we said they should purge themselves morally. It's a matter of conscience. They know that what they are doing is wrong. But the thing is this, who will confront them? And we're saying we are ready to confront them.
Yeah.
We are ready to confront them. I will lead the struggle.
Yes.
I will lead it. I don't eat from them. They don't feed me. All they can do is to incarcerate some of us.
Just
And one thing we are not afraid of is this.
Detention.
Detention. We are never afraid of detention.
It's our second home.
It's our second home. And I'm always ready to go there.